Another impromptu video that I want to do. This one is pretty serious as I've been brought into some of the other dimensions, so to speak, and I don't want to lose anybody here by going too far into my shamanic journey in the last 2 days, but I will share that with you in just a few moments because I have been communicating. Here comes my cat, Luna. I have been in communication with some spirits or entities, energies from many different dimensions, and without judging, some would appear to be of extreme and high light. Some are definitely of the ancestors that have guided me on my journey on Earth that I'm very familiar with. There goes Luna. She's hiding because the energies are really intense. And some of them could be perceived by many as darker energies, entities. I'm also familiar with them and have found ways to not be afraid, but to understand what they are communicating to us, to me as well, to share with all of you. My cat. So honestly, with the energies that we've been experiencing, I have been out of commission as far as, and I will finish the zodiac when I'm able to, but highly charged energies coming in on the planet. And for any of you who are open receivers, conduits such as myself, you may have been experiencing some similar symptoms. I know today is the first day that my crown chakra has eased up, but for the last 2 or 3 days, I actually lost track of days and times through that. Extremely painful in the back of the occipital lobe, the back of the head, a lot of heat, a lot of sensitivity on the scalp, the crown chakra being completely like flooded with energy, information. And as it travels down the energetic system of the body, it begins to travel down the neck. I was having extreme neck pain, and then it would hit through the throat. And I have some things that I've written that I want to express and communicate as it goes to the heart. I began to feel this unconditional love for everyone and everything and all of the experiences, what we label good and bad, light and dark. There's a lot to be gained out of all of it. And then through the rest of the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root. I've had a lot of energy stuck in the sacral and the root. So it really affected my low back area, my sacroiliac joints, and hip flexors, groin muscles, and have really been working through that extreme pain over the last few days. It has eased up finally. I surrendered to it all. I surrendered to also what we would consider, well, there's a lot of downloads, a lot of information going on in the mind, in the thoughts, and a lot of psychic attacks that I had initially began to experience. And as I'm talking now, my crown is starting to really heat up again. I want to explain the difference between a psychic attack and unconscious or subconscious cellular memories that come back alive in the memories and thoughts. There's a difference. And I'll go a little deeper. Well, we'll just go there now before I go into what I've written. So it started out just as the new moon, just around the new moon. So there was a lot of planetary energies, and the sun had been still is, really pumping a lot of plasma. We've had 2 coronal mass ejections touch Earth, and then flares. So just a lot of energy coming in and into the body, into the psychic field. For me, the veil, there is no veil. I sense, see, feel, experience everything that is around me. So when I say psychic attacks, I'm talking, and I do live in an older home, but I've had these experiences no matter where I've lived. I'm very familiar with them. They don't happen often, but when they do, they can be quite scary. For some, especially if you're newer to having these experiences, you may start to feel the energies or entities brush. I have them like brush up against me, and things moving in my home, my cat acting as if it needs to take shelter. Yesterday I had to literally wear a beanie to keep the crown chakra from, because it was just radiating so much energy and it was becoming really painful. But wearing a hat or covering the head does help. So these are psychic attacks, and they also attack the thoughts. So when they're coming at you and they're taunting you, touching you, moving things in your home, or whatever paranormal activities that not everybody experiences this, but I was definitely guided to share this because there are many in the audience that listens to my videos that have the same basic shamanic energy field where we pick up on more than others. And it's not saying that anybody's higher or lower or greater or lesser than anybody, but just to because for me it got so intense that it does really mess with the mind. And I knew the difference, but I still had to call a friend when it hits the thoughts of the mind and the voice. The essence of the energy was demonic, I suppose is the word to use. And it said, you better get yourself some help. Get yourself some help. It was telling me to like go check into a mental institution. And these are things that have happened to me before and have actually pushed me into doing things that I normally would not have done. And then I also have the ancestors, the angelic realms that are supportive and really holding my hand and walking me through this. But the darker energies are also here as part of our lessons to be learned, depending on what type of journey that you're on here on planet Earth. Again, not everybody is going to resonate with this, and I don't expect that you do. And I'm not telling any of you this to be afraid. From what I have gathered over the course of the last few years, from really allowing and accepting everything that comes into my energy field so that I can have a deeper understanding and not be afraid of it, for me, some of the darker, we'll just call it darker because they seem scary and they're intense, and they come in as thought forms, and you can even have other experiences in your day-to-day experience that will sort of entice you into saying and doing and thinking things that you normally would not on a darker level. The ones that have affected me throughout my lifetime, has been known to come from a star system known as Algol, and I link Algol to alcohol. It is a darker form of energy that can easily get into your energy field and into your thoughts through consuming too much alcohol. And we can all attest to experiencing or witnessing people just completely losing themselves and losing their minds and going down a darker path when consuming too much alcohol, because you're an open you opened yourself up for these energies to get into your thought forms, into your body, and it seems very, very real. So I've definitely, a lot of people have had these energies impact them and affect their decisions and choices that they've made in life. They bring in a lot of fear. They bring in a lot of anger and rage. They bring in a lot of judgment, and the perception on others, on self, on life becomes very negative and dark. So I had only a brief touchdown with the darker entities of algal, for the purpose of me actually reaching out to a very specific person in my life that it was time for me to ask for help. And that really broke that chain for myself and allowed me to, she came over immediately. And it was the only person at the time that I instinctually knew would understand to a degree what I was experiencing and not look at me like, yeah, you should probably go see a doctor. Because that would have just really spiraled me out of control, because at that point I was so vulnerable and so upset of this invasion. It definitely is an invasion of entities and energies that had come in. And then when I allowed it, it opened up the cellular memory of stuck energies that were in my body that were causing a lot of physical pain through my spine, my back, and I've had back surgery in the past. I know some people have commented on having had spinal, I've been diagnosed too with the spinal stenosis and the severe arthritis, and I've got multiple herniated discs, which cause a lot of pain. But for the most part, I'm pain-free until we get hit hard with certain energies. And if I have stuck energy in my body, which most of us do, it's going to cause a lot of inflammation. So that is my perspective, and that's my experience on all of this. But what I really wanted to share this with whoever is out there resonating with what I'm saying so far, if you don't allow the darker entities, energies to fool you into thinking that you're crazy, fool you into thinking that there's something wrong with you, there's something wrong with your path, because this is the duality of energy, and we live in a multi-dimensional world, and this entire experience here on Earth is all energetic. We have a lot of plasma coming in on the planet, and that is energy in a more of a gas form. I'm still learning more about this, but just know that if you need help, ask for help, but know that it will pass, and try not to make any rash decisions or judge yourself or judge others. I had to really let all of this energy really flow through me and be the witness instead of allowing it to take over, which it can. I've had in my very distant past, I've had, and that's the memories that came up for me, were in my distant past, many years ago, how these entities from algal and wherever else they may come from have impacted my choices and decisions that I've made in life and parts of my path that I did have to take to learn. They also impacted my father. This is ancestral. I've been shown how it's impacted everybody in my bloodline, in my family line, as well as my soul tribe, my soul family here on planet Earth, that we're not blood related, but we definitely know that we have shared life experiences in other lifetimes before together. We have a lot of energetic things happen at the same time, a lot of telepathic communication going on, especially now. This is really big for many of us. We are, whether you're aware of it or not, we are telepathically communicating to each other all the time right now. And like I said, the veil is thin. For me, there is no veil. I can see and feel and sense everything, and there's so much. And there are ways to protect yourself and really dial it down so it's not this crazy like LSD acid trip where you just like lose yourself. My mother and I had a very in-depth conversation, and my mom is a nurse, and she's worked with a lot of psychiatric patients in her lifetime, and just to understand how a lot of people that are on heavy medications or diagnosed with schizophrenia and borderline personality and bipolar and all of that are basically had not don't understand, especially in the Western culture, we don't understand this part of evolution and awakening, and that all of our channels are open, and that there is so much more to life than just what we experience on the material, plane. Other cultures understand and revere and honor the process of awakening, and there is great support by others, by the elders, by the masters, to allow them to experience all of the entities and energies that they need to in a safe place, in a safe space. Here in the Western culture, we are medicated, we are institutionalized and diagnosed, and it is so sad. It is so, so sad. So, and I'm not knocking, anybody that feels that they need to be institutionalized or medicated. That is your path, that is your journey, and I wish you well. But I want to share some of these things that I've written and that I've shared also on Facebook. They've been written by others as well, but these are channeled messages that come through, and they come through multiple channels. They come through all of us from time to time. And I do want to remember, I hope that I speak about this. Oh, actually, it's the first one on here. So there are many of us who have in our energetic blueprint, in our energy field, what is known as the sacred or holy witness. This is part of your purpose here on the planet. And so if you are one who, like, your whole life, everybody seems to always come to you and tell you their problems, or they just dump on you, even random strangers will tell you their life story for no reason at all. This is why you hold a certain frequency that their soul, their energy is magnetized towards you, because it knows that this is a safe place, a safe space for me to release some of these things that have been stuck, because they have stuck energy in them. And it becomes very uncomfortable, as we all know, to hold on to feelings, emotions, experiences, and not have any form of release. It builds up and builds up and builds up. So, they dump it all on us. And so, knowing that this is actually an honor to be the witness, there are certain things that you must understand. And it really does pull on our heartstrings a lot of the times, the people that come to us. If you have the space, if you are in a place, if you have the agency to listen and only listen, witness someone else purging or dumping or releasing what it is that they need to release from their body, their emotional body, their energy field, by all means do so. But that is all we are meant to do, is witness and listen. We are not meant to give advice. We are not meant to jump in and help somebody and hold their hand and trust me, I know this from experience, because if you do, you will be depleted. They will then turn into what's known as an energy vampire. They will continue to siphon energy from you and need from you. And you have broken your contract as being the sacred witness, and suddenly you're pulled into somebody else's energy field and their problems and their stuff, and it's going to build into yours. So understand this. Just hold space, listen and witness, and it will disintegrate. It will go away. I learned this a long time ago when I became a hairdresser way back in the day. I knew that I wasn't meant to do that for very long, because for me to touch somebody else's head, instantly it opens up their blah. They just tell you everything. And it's good when you're in the middle of doing someone's hair that you just listen. And, then they leave, they go away. But if you start to engage and get involved in their personal things or give advice or any of that other stuff, you are then attached. So keep that in mind. The other thing I wanted to share with you all is that it's important that we all come to a place where we're okay with not everybody liking us, not everybody resonating with us. We are not for everybody. Everybody is especially now, really spinning out and going on their own journey. And a lot of us that hold a higher frequency of light right now, because we have stripped away a lot of the darkness, that light can be a bit too much for others who are still battling and struggling through their own inner demons and darkness. And so they almost feel attacked by our energy without even doing anything at all. So be okay with not everyone liking you. You're not going to be liked by everyone. Here's the important thing to remember. If you put on a facade, if you present yourself in a way just so that you are liked and accepted, if you hide your truth, your voice for approval of others or for love from others, know this: you will never be liked for who you truly are. Only that watered down, tamed down version of you. This will lead to loneliness, as if no one really knows you, because that's the truth. No one really does know the truth of you. You've watered it down. You've started to play a facade. We start this in childhood, by the way. Usually like in public schools or even in family. I mean, it depends. It begins somewhere, right? In some capacity. Some you can really tell that they're just not being themselves right off the bat. Others, it's a little more subtle, but we all have this to a degree. So that would be true. They don't really know you. You must let go of needing everyone to like you in order to be seen, heard, known, and loved for who you truly are. Let go of the fear that some will just not resonate with you. That's okay. It's important to be okay with this. When you hide who you are, when you put your feelings aside, when you hide your truth, your way of being, you send a message of rejection to yourself. You send a message of rejection to your very heart and soul that says, you are not enough. I am not enough. Or I'm too much for others. I've done that in the past. And who you are, your very essence, needs to be hidden in order to be loved, which that is just not true. And you're sending those signals to yourself and to others. Being you, all of you, allows you to be heard, seen. It allows space and light. Let yourself know that you are enough. You are beautiful. You're brilliant, just as you are. Lovable, just as you are. And if some people don't resonate with you, be okay with that. You'll become a magnet to those who will resonate with you. So it's important to shine your light, shine all of you, so that you can magnetically attract others into your life that are of the same resonance. We have to stop putting on a facade and a show and watering ourselves down. We're going to continue to feel lonely and as if nobody understands us. Okay, so it's a very important message. And the last one is not to let anybody invalidate or minimize your feelings. Your feelings are very real to you. Nobody should have the power to invalidate that, ever, ever. Nobody else lives in your body. Nobody else sees life through your eyes, feels what you feel, or has lived through your personal experiences, which trigger specific emotions and feelings. They are very real and valid, and I'm here to validate them for you. It's important, though, to not let those darker entities and energies in to tell a specific story. If they do, and they will, it's important not to attach to or believe those stories. It's important to allow the feelings and emotions to flow through you and out of you without attaching to any type of story whatsoever. And it's important to express. And if you don't feel safe to express your feelings to a specific person or people, write it down, express it out loud, do something that expresses the true feelings that you have. Nobody has the right to judge or dictate how you feel. Your feelings are valid, important, and deserve to be expressed. Don't let anyone or anything make you believe otherwise, and stop listening to what the outside world says you should do, and start listening to your heart. Be true to you. Listen to your heart and your soul instead of the noise of the world. Lessons are repeated until we finally learn them. So we do repeat these cycles over and over and over again. And with the energy we're currently in, specifically with the North and South node, with Venus going retrograde, we are learning how to have way better, balanced, harmonized relationships with ourselves and with others that are of truth, pure and real, and of love. So this is what I wanted to share with all of you today at this point. You are not alone. You're not going crazy. We are going through a very, very big, massive, energetic shift, an evolutionary process of the human being itself. Every human being is going through this. They are processing it their own way. And the last thing that I wanted to share, because I know even for myself in my past, when we get to a certain point of understanding and resonance with our journey, our egos are still involved. There is definitely such a thing as a spiritual ego. So don't get it twisted. The way it was shown to me to express, because through some of my experiences in the last couple of days that are very otherworldly, it was very difficult for me to find the words to express a lot of the messages I'm receiving, also a lot of the experiences alone. But it was shown to me like this. And actually, in the simplest terms, is that we all have our own unique sleep cycles. I wake up early. I look back at my family. I was always the first one to wake up. Everybody else was still asleep. That doesn't mean that I'm better than them. But say you go on a trip and it's nighttime. You go to the Grand Canyon or something like that. This is how it was shown to me because I was just at the Grand Canyon not too long ago. You go on a trip to the Grand Canyon with your family and it's nighttime, so you can't really see anything. So everybody goes to bed, everybody goes to sleep. But you're the first one that wakes up in the morning. And so you venture out and you see the magnificence and the glory and the beauty of the Grand Canyon. And you start to journey through to just check it out. You go through some different paths. You notice that this path has some snakes and this one's a little rocky and a little challenging. Well, this one is a lot more, smooth, and you still get the same beauty. That still doesn't mean that you are better or worse. Everybody else is. So somebody else wakes up and they come outside and you're like, I just want to show you that this path here is a little tricky and there's snakes there and you could get trapped in there. So just to be aware, just letting you know, you can go there if you want, but this path here is a lot easier. You get to see the same things. You may see even more. That's been my experience. So, that's my advice type of thing. And that's the analogy of the awakening process. Nobody is greater or lesser than anybody else. Some of us have very intense experiences and we have learned a lot through our journey, and we are meant to really share what we've learned on our journey to help others traverse through the complications and the confusion of the journey of life and the journey of awakening. But it's not for us to tell somebody what to do. It's just advice. It's sharing. This is my experience. I noticed that this path here is a little trickier. It's, maybe you're going to have a better experience than I did, but be mindful. There are traps there. So, because we can all. And that's part of our journey too. I've fallen into traps. I've fallen into rabbit holes, and I still learned and I got a lot out of it. And it doesn't make me greater or lesser than anybody else. Enjoy your journey. The joy is in the journey. It is not about getting anywhere or a destination anywhere. And there's nobody on this planet that knows exactly where we're headed anyway. But for those of us who have the abilities to pick up and receive information from higher guidance, from the eye in the sky that can see down on all of us, and that is the guide for me, is, you might not want to take this path. And I have to be in touch with my guidance, my energy system, my chakras, pick up that guidance, and then it flows through the crown chakra and through the navigational system that I have. So anyway, I think that's all I want to share for now. I'm sending you out so much love. And for any of you who are going through this paranormal psychic attack experiences, trust me, it's intense. I know you're not going crazy. Allow it to flow through. And I do hope to maybe go live later on in this week. You know, it's really hard for me to plan or navigate because the energies are just so sporadic right now. But I would love to engage with some of you to, you know, just bounce off each other, like what's going on and what are you receiving, and are you receiving the guidance that you need, or are you falling into the trap of these darker entities getting into your thoughts and making you think that you are crazy, because they will do that if you believe them. Don't believe them. I love you all. Take care. Bye.